Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. The latte art is not in the room with us today, and I'm trying to give myself grace with it because I was on a roll this past winter, and then in the summer I drink iced lattes the entire summer. Like, I have not made a hot latte in months, and I've just gotten back into hot lattes. Not that it's getting much colder, it's actually really hot and muggy, but it's officially fall now. And I have lost my touch, like, completely. It's like I never knew how to make latte art. It's hard for me to even remember what it was like knowing how to make, like, basic latte art because I just get these globs. But we are gonna have a cozy little chat today. I haven't filmed a sort of chatty video in a minute. The last couple videos that I've posted over the past few weeks have been around the Renaissance Festival in Maryland. The end of summer, early fall is the Ren Fair season, which I'm all about, and I've done a couple videos vlogging the Ren Fest. I did a costume get ready with me, so if you're curious about that, go check those out. Today is one of my chatty sit-down videos, which I do like to do. I sit down and I talk about something that's been on my heart, that's like really relevant to me, and somehow it reaches so many people who have been feeling the same way, who needed to hear something that, you know, I had learned. And that to me is so special. So I pray this video reaches the right people today, and I have a feeling it will, because this has been something that has been like the lesson of the summer for me and my main thing going into this next season of fall. So it perfectly sort of falls into so punny, but it perfectly falls into this transitional period as we head into autumn, my favorite time of year. We are going to be talking about rest and the gift of a season of rest. So get yourself a cozy drink, sit down, and let's chat a little bit. Now, I am not someone who historically has been very good at resting. I grew up in a household where if you were sort of sitting around, if you're on the couch, like, you were lazy. I was not taught what rest looked like. I feel like by nature I'm not a very restful person. Like, I'm very go, go, go. Like, I have ideas, I have things that I want to do, I have dreams that I want to achieve, and I'm always like pushing that. And honestly, until I pursued sobriety, specifically, I don't think I really had the skills of how to rest. And it really is a skill. I think people often underestimate what true rest is, because rest is something that is intentional and something that takes practice and skill. And if you don't learn those things, you know, growing up, it can be really, really difficult as an adult, especially, to learn how to prioritize rest. Me personally, I had a really hard time being comfortable just being with myself. Like, I really didn't like myself. I didn't feel comfortable or safe just like sitting with my thoughts and my feelings. And that was a big reason why, you know, alcohol became like a really great way for me to self-medicate, because it allowed me to like just turn off my brain and sit there, and what felt like rest to me, right? Because I just had turned everything off, but it really wasn't rest. It was like I was hitting pause on my brain, and then I'd wake up next day feeling terrible about myself, and I'd feel even worse than I did before. So it kind of became the cycle. I think a lot of people run into this where, you know, we don't really like ourselves. We have a really hard time being uncomfortable. We have a really hard time being bored, you know, just like not doing anything, not having that external stimulation or something to like numb the mind and the feelings. It's hard. And then you really have to kind of learn that skill. And over the past 4 years that I've been on my sobriety journey and, that I haven't had the crutch of alcohol for, I have really had to learn how to rest. And I've gotten really so much better at it. I have to give myself credit for that. I spent a lot of time in early sobriety really struggling, trying to learn how to rest, struggling to learn how to be in my own company and to be okay with not feeling okay. Like, it was really hard in the beginning, and I felt uncomfortable, like, internally, a lot. And, previously, like, I had no bandwidth for that. Like, I would feel uncomfortable and I'd be like, oh, okay, time for a drink. If I'm in a social situation, I'm not having a good time, I'm feeling anxious, have a drink. Like, that makes it a little bit better. I'm at home, I'm having a lot of, like, thoughts and feelings that are too big, have a drink, that numbs it all down. And when you remove that crutch, suddenly I actually have to, like, sit and confront and, like, feel those things. And over time, yes, it's super uncomfortable in the beginning, but over time you learn, like, okay, look, I felt that, I confronted that feeling, I sat with it, and, like, it passed. Or, it's okay for me to feel uncomfortable, nothing happened, I am safe. I can be a lot more intentional and sit by myself. I enjoy my own company, and sort of being by myself and not doing anything or having something to distract me is now something that I can do to recharge a little bit, right? I personally am an introvert, and there's people that I can be with that sort of don't drain that too much, but I really am someone who needs to have, like, my alone time to recharge. Now that alone time is something that's really intentional and thoughtful and something that comes from a place of self-love rather than, like, me trying to dim the lights up here. That being said, over the past 4 years, while I have learned how to rest better, it has been a very action-packed, go 4 years. Right around the time that I quit drinking, like literally within a 1-month span, I landed a job that I didn't know at the time, but has really led me to, like, my dream career, a career that I didn't even know that I wanted or was built for. A year later, we bought our first house, like a dream house, which has been such a blessing. I love this home so much. And it was just so many things to work on. Building friendships, building that community, just really putting that time into it. All my friends got married in this time frame. I've been working on, building out our home. I've been working on my career. I've started this YouTube channel that I've put a lot of effort and time into. And it's just been very, like, go, which I love, and I thrive on that. This summer, there was kind of a shift that I like physically felt. It felt a little bit like a midlife crisis. I'd really put in so much work and fulfilled so many of my dreams over the past few years, where I kind of got to a place where it was like, okay, well, what's next? Like, what am I working on now? Friends, check. House, check. Sobriety, check. Like, what's next? What's my next frontier? And this summer, I feel like God has really been teaching me a lesson around rest, not even in the way that it's sort of a good habit of rest, but that sometimes there are seasons of rest in life. And I haven't really had that. I had a difficult childhood and had to grow up very fast. I left as soon as I could. I jumped into bad relationships. I really struggled with my self-worth. Ended up going down the path of very toxic coping mechanisms, which is what they are, right, at the end of the day, eating disorders, and ended up self-medicating with alcohol. I lost my dad to cancer. It's been a rough go, and not that I don't appreciate everything in its own way, because it makes me the person that I am today, and I can see that, but, like, it has been a trial. Like, it has been an effort, to pull myself out of holes and keep working at things and keep trying to improve myself and keep aligning myself and, plow forward, because there were times in my life where I didn't think I could go on. And this summer I've been feeling kind of weird and this revelation kind of hit me that I have been led to a season of rest. For maybe the first time in my life, I am not fighting anything. I am not battling to accomplish something or get somewhere that I need to be. And when you're used to that kind of life, it can feel super weird and uncomfy when things are peaceful. when things are serene, when things are quiet, when things are going well. I think I mentioned this earlier in the year in a vlog maybe, that I had set a goal this year to read the whole Bible in a year. It was well-intentioned, but it's actually a really big, really deep, complex book. Plot twist, in case you didn't know that. And it's just taking me a really long time. And I've kind of set that aside. I feel like, for something like the Bible, like you might as well take your time and really go deep and understand everything. So I have a fantastic study Bible. I'm doing my daily readings. And we're getting there. I'm not anywhere close to finishing, which is fine. It'll take me as long as it takes me. But I've been working across the Old Testament, the New Testament, and Psalms. And a few weeks ago, I got to Psalm 23, and it was just like my aha moment. Like, I read it, it was like God was speaking to me directly. So I got my compact Bible here, so I figured we could read it together, because it's so beautiful. I just went ahead and highlighted pretty much every single line. So this is Psalm 23, a Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. This is the New Living Translation in my study Bible, which is the English Standard Version. One line that I think really stands out to me there, and I like having two different translations to see how things are translated, because I'm really interested in the etymology, and I kind of dive deep in that in my sort of in-depth study. But in the ESV and King James and all of the traditional versions, that the second line, where here it reads, he lets me rest in green meadows, in the traditional line it reads, he makes me lie down in green pastures. And I feel like there's something very distinct about that translation, which is a little bit closer to the original, where it's an active verb. God doesn't just let you rest. God calls you to rest. God makes you rest. And obviously there's a sheep metaphor, which you see throughout the Bible story. In this psalm, with God as your shepherd, he leads you to where you need to go. And when it is time to rest, he makes you lay down in green pastures. And note that it's not just he makes me rest, it's he makes me rest in green pastures. Not only is it just a place to rest, it is a place of provision. It's a place of abundance. It's a place where you can rest, recharge, eat, if you're going with the sheep metaphor. He prepares a feast for me. He anoints my head with oil. My cup overflows. And it kind of hit me, and I feel like it's getting me a long time to get to this in the video, to the point that I'm trying to make, which is that the work that we do on ourselves is honorable, but if we don't take the time to intentionally rest, stop, and look around at all the prayers that have already been answered, at all of the abundance that God has brought into your life, at everything that you have already achieved, and appreciate and find gratitude and value in that, if we're always looking for the next thing, we are missing the point. I am so vulnerable to that kind of mentality. And this summer has just been like a real wake-up call to sort of open my eyes and be like, hey, you're not going anywhere right now. There's nothing else you need to be focusing on right now except being grateful for all the prayers that have been answered over the past few years. Prayers that I had as a little girl, dreaming about her future, dreaming about how her life would be when she could leave home, of what my life would look like, and the kind of people that would be in my life, and the kind of relationship I would be in. And I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in the momentum of life and this constant mindset of improving yourself that it's so easy to miss seeing those things, I think I have mistaken this time of peace for me, my green meadow, my feast. I think I've mistaken it in it feeling so different to me that I'm worried I'm going to miss my next calling. When God has a calling for you, when there is purpose to your life, you cannot miss it. Like, it will be clear to you. And right now, in my worry about that, I almost missed my calling to stop, like hit the brakes, get my clammy claws off the wheel, just to absorb this and be grateful. Because life is full of seasons of challenge and growth. Like, that is guaranteed. Like, there will be seasons of your life that are not easy peasy lemon squeezy, where you will be challenged and you will grow, and a lot of times that's really uncomfortable, right? Growth starts at the edge of your comfort zone, and I have been there for a really long time. And right now, I have the incredible blessing of being in a season of abundance and a season of provision and a season of answered prayers, where my only responsibility is to lay down in this green meadow and have my cup overflow with blessings and to be grateful for that. So over the past few weeks, I've tried to remind myself of that. This is my Psalm 23 season. I've been reading it every single day, reminding myself of what's important. Because, I know that this season isn't forever. I know that there will be more down the line, which is fantastic, and I can't wait. But I'm not worried about that. Over the past few weeks, I've prioritized spending time with my incredible friends that I prayed for. I've really focused on enjoying my home rather than being like, when is everything gonna come together and be perfect? I've been trying to enjoy this season. I'm not a big summer person. Like I said, I'm all in for fall, but we went to the beach. I am preparing to travel to Romania with my little sister, which will be our first adult trip, just the two of us. She's meeting me there, which I'm just so excited for. I have been loving my job and my colleagues, and really finding fulfillment in that, and in just, the everyday work that I do that I love. In this time of blessing, I've also really been feeling called to give back to the community. Just the other week, I went for an orientation at our local mission, and actually tomorrow I'm going in for my first volunteer opportunity to help prepare lunch, and they serve breakfast and lunch to anyone who needs a meal. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. So I guess to close out today's message, as summer has ended and we head into fall, it is the season of harvest, right? It's so perfect. It's the season of, looking at all the work that you put in over the spring and the summer to sow your crop. And now is the time for harvesting all of that. So that is really my big goal for the fall. I think that's it for today's video. I hope that this message finds you if you are maybe in a similar place as me, where you've been walking in dark valleys, and you've been led to your meadow, or maybe that meadow is just around the corner for you. I just think it's so important to remember that while the self-improvement is good and the hard work is honorable, don't be so zeroed in on the next breakthrough, the next challenge, that you miss when you are being called to lay down. God walks with us through those challenging times, but God is also with us when He causes us to lay down, when He leads us to still waters, when He allows time and seasons for us to restore our strength before whatever's next. And we've really got to be listening for those cues too. Because when we don't, that's when we end up burning the candle at both ends, running ourselves into the ground, and that does not set you up to really fulfill your purpose for your life. I hope it brought you some hope, some comfort, some encouragement. As always, leave a comment down below if you're struggling, or if you are in a season of abundance, what's a blessing that you're grateful for, a prayer that's been answered. I'm also really planning to vlog more in the fall. I'm getting a new vlog camera, because this bad boy that I'm filming on is great for these sit-down videos, but when it comes to the action shots, she struggles, and she's getting old. And I bought her secondhand many years ago, so she's been good to me, and she's great for this kind of content. But I am finally getting a new vlog camera, which is super exciting. So I will be vlogging in Romania, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. My goal this fall is to have fun and to prioritize joy and really enjoy my life and my overflowing cup. And I want to take you along with me. The coffee is empty. We've said what we needed to share, at least for today. I so appreciate you being here wherever you are. I hope you have a fantastic day or night. Hopefully I will see you in my next video. Until then, sending you lots of love.